Hey everybody, my name is Lindsay Shipplett. Some of you may know me, some of you probably do not. I am the wife to Josh Shipplett, tire carrier on the 11 team for Joe Gibbs Racing. And I was really honored to be asked to come here and share some words of encouragement with you guys. When I sat down and kind of figured out what I wanted to share, I kept being brought back to doubt, doubt in yourself, doubt in your life, especially during this pandemic and everything that's been going on, kind of doubting where we are and what we're doing. So one of the verses that's really meant a lot to me in my life has been Philippians 4:6 and 4:7. Do not be anxious about anything, but in every situation, by prayer and petition, with thanksgiving, present your requests to God, and the peace of God, which transcends all understanding, will guard our hearts and our minds in Christ Jesus. I love this so much because God knows us. He knows our hearts. He knows the seconds in our lives, and He put us on a path before we were ever born. And He asked us to bring all of our doubts and our failures, our insecurities to Him, and He will guide us in our path. A peace that transpires all understanding. That is powerful. And I want to share something with you guys, that a situation in my life that really I put all of my faith in God. When I was growing up, I wanted to be a nurse. And when I went to school, I decided to go for business. So after school, I worked in hospitality, I worked in corporate training, property management and real estate, and I was never really fulfilled in my job. I enjoyed it and I was good at it, but I was never really where I was supposed to be. So when our youngest daughter was about 6 months old, I decided to go back to work. And I didn't know if I wanted to go back into the corporate world or if I wanted to go to nursing school. Well, I found this job and I checked all the boxes. I checked all the requirements, the background, I had the experience that we needed, and I just didn't know if that was the route I wanted to go. So I prayed on it and I said, if this is where I'm meant to be, this is where I'm gonna go. Or if I'm meant to go back to nursing school, things will work itself out. So I went in, I put in my resume, and within hours, the guy had called me back and wanted an interview. And I was like, okay, well, maybe this is it. So I went in, and the interview was going really well. Things were meshing really well, and it seemed to work well because I could get the kids to school. I didn't have to worry about if the race rained out, and we raced on a Wednesday in Texas. I didn't have to worry about, what happens if Josh is gone and he can't get the girls or pick them up. It seemed to really work. And we got to that question in the interview that they always ask about, where do you see yourself in 5 years? And I just paused. And I was like, I had all these thoughts in my head, and I was like, I don't know. I don't know where I'll be in 5 years. I don't know if Josh will still be in the NASCAR community. I don't know if we'll still be in North Carolina. I don't know. And I looked at the guy and I said, I have no idea. And he was like, he kind of taken aback. He was like, what do you mean you don't know? We just had this whole interview and everything seems well, and that's not normally the answer we get. So I finished out the interview and I got home and I was like, well, I guess, we'll see. We'll see how it goes. And he called me back and he said, you did really well, but I don't think your heart's in it. And I immediately knew that's not where I was supposed to be. That I needed to put all my doubts and my worries aside, and I needed to go back to school again and go to nursing school. So I applied to nursing school and got in, but all of my biologies and chemistries and everything were older than 5 years, so I had to retake them. And every time something else would come up, it would be like, God, are you sure? Are you sure this is it? Are you sure, this is where I'm supposed to be? It should be easy, right? And I kept going and I kept getting all this stuff done, and during the middle of a pandemic. It was probably the hardest thing I have ever done, except for maybe homeschooling my 6th grader in the middle of a pandemic. That was pretty hard. But I graduated with a 4.0. I graduated with a 4.0 and I was so happy with myself and so happy that I didn't give up. So what I want to say to you guys today is just because God puts you on a path doesn't make it easy. It doesn't make it the easiest path, and it doesn't make it just that you're going to go step by step. There's going to be road bumps and road blocks and U-turns, but when you cross that finish line at the end, it makes it so worth it. For all the wives and spouses and kids and families and grandparents and out there that do this crazy racing life. During the pandemic, races were on Wednesdays, races were on Saturdays, they were doubles on a Sunday. It was crazy. But we are all on this crazy ship together, and I know that if I'm struggling, others are struggling, and just because this path that we've been given, may look easier or glamorous or whatever from the outside, doesn't always mean that everyone in the ship is happy and content. And it may be hard. You may ask God, this is too much, something else. But He promises that once you get there, there is a peace that transcends all understanding. It's not for us to understand. It's not for us to say, when is the end. That's all on His timing. And I promise it'll be worth it. Just because it's a hard path, and it may be a really, really hard path, when we cross the finish line, it'll all be worth it.